He was sitting on the floor, with his arms over his knees, and he just knee jerked into sobbing. I mean, real sobbing. Hi, everybody. Again, I want to talk a little bit about power animals and some of the experiences and case studies that I had over the years. Right. When I had my office in Santa Barbara, I would get contacted for soul retrievals or power animal retrievals because I was not only teaching the men and women's group, Women's Spirit and Journey to the Sacred Male. I had I had a good reputation because nobody else was doing it. I was one of the first to work with Michael and bring that back to Santa Barbara. And I was told it was time for me to start working. In fact, even my dreams told me that it was time for me to start teaching. I'm going to tell you one of the most beautiful experiences I had as a man called me up and said that he would like a power animal retrieval. And let me tell you, I'm a normal gal. Difficult because I have studied spiritual practices all my life, the Western mystery tradition, shamanism, Wicca, ceremonial magic. So it definitely is my field, but I'm very much, well, let's just see. Like I don't go into fantasy. And I felt silly the first time I got a rattle and I started singing my power song that came to me, and I felt silly laying down next to people I didn't know and doing a soul retrieval. But what I did is I tracked because I'm a writer, of course, and I've got years and years and years of dreams journals. So I would track their shift. Just so you know, it didn't come naturally to me. So I got a call from a man I didn't know who we made an appointment. He wanted to discuss, and he wanted a power animal retrieval. When he came in, he was a normal bloke. He was not a woo-woo spiritual counselor, or he wasn't a psychiatrist. He was just a normal guy, and he was very uncomfortable. And of course, that made me uncomfortable. And, when you're doing this work, you really have to be in your body. You've got to really be balanced. And this is something that you learn over time. So I had to, because I'm an empath, I could feel into him, of course. And that's really good as a shamanic healer, but you'll have to also listen in a neutral space so the truth of who they are can you can receive pictures and you're not just projecting what you think they are, right? There's a huge difference. He was awkward, and he was tentative, and he was shy. He had heard from a friend who had had a session and was very curious, but I could tell he wasn't, a believer. So when we discussed what was going on with him, I recommended a power animal retrieval just to bring some power back. And again, I had my whole setup in the office. It was beautiful. I had beautiful rugs and serapes and, you know, beautiful art. When I did the power animal retrieval for him, he got a badger. Badger came back for him. And you sit up, and the client sits up, and you face each other, and then you tell him what the journey was. And when I told him that a badger had come back for him, he was sitting on the floor, with his arms over his knees, and he just knee jerked into sobbing. I mean, real sobbing. Of course, I just held the space for him. And when he came back into himself, and it was like a snotty, like, and I have Kleenex, of course, in the office. So we got him cleaned up, and he was so open. He had completely changed. And this is called metanoia, the change of heart and mind that can happen. So when I received his power animal, which was a badger, and I blew it into his heart, he shared an experience with me when he was young, when he was just a boy. And boys and girls can be very naughty. And we don't really know sometimes what we're doing or the import of what we're doing. And as tears were, welling up in his eyes, he shared with me that when he was a kid, one of the things that he never told anybody and he was most ashamed of was that he had found a badger in the woods and he had killed it. It was a baby badger. Boy, I can feel that now. So I said, the badger has come for you to help you, to bring you power. And in many Native American traditions, if you kill something, you owe it a debt. And the badger did not hold this against him. It was waiting for him to remember it in a healing way. So it came back as a friend, as an ally. He walked out of there changed. There's one example of a power animal retrieval for a man. He was in his 30s, 40s, who was not a believer and left completely changed and transformed. And the other part of a power animal retrieval is that you get a ritual of healing immediately, because that's the second part of it, so that you work with the power animal or you build an altar to the power animal. So I had him look for a badger sculpture. Native Americans, they have carvings, and to make a and to thank, if he had tobacco or sage or incense, to light a candle, anything that you have to say thank you to the badger, and to let that go. Let that go, what happened to him. He was just a kid, and we have no idea what he was working out with, family dynamics or whatever. So this is the beauty and the grace and the dignity of working with power animals that come to help us. So there's a story for you. There's a possibility, and there's a new healing. So thanks so much. Sign up for the free Power Animal class at ChristinaWestArt.com/Power Animal. Thanks so much. I'll see you in class.